Wine production is a crucial agricultural industry, providing job opportunities to around 270,000 people in the Western Cape. Initially, US President Donald Trump announced a 30% tariff, with AGOA no longer in play. Major orders from the United States were cancelled. Not long after, a 90-day reprieve with tariffs charged at 10% was announced. South African exporters clamoured to get their goods to America before the 90 days are up. The American market is the fourth largest for South African wine exports. With major uncertainty, much is at stake in the discussions between President Cyril Ramaphosa and Trump.
We see reports all over that global wine consumption has declined and continues to do so. So the markets are all really in a very tricky position, and it also depends on what happens to our competitor nations. How are they being impacted? A lot of what's going on is very speculative at the moment. We are seeing changes being made literally at the drop of a hat from the US government, and at the moment we're just having to ride this out and see where we end up, but we do put a lot of hope in our president to have these fortuitous, hopefully, conversations on Wednesday.
The organisation says if tariffs remain at 10% for wine exports, it will put South Africa on par with other countries that compete in the American market. However, a tariff of 30% could have a major impact. Establishing and maintaining an export market takes a long time, especially in a country like America that also produces world-renowned wines.
They produce roughly 70% of all the wine that is consumed in the US market. And as we know, Americans are fiercely patriotic. So it is a tricky market to enter. These relationships take a long time to build and establish. And once that is broken, it's very tricky to get back in.
The Western Cape contributes more than half of all agricultural exports from South Africa. AGOA was established to improve economic relations between the United States and economies in sub-Saharan Africa.
I'm of the opinion that I don't think it will be renewed, and we will have to have a plan B, and at this stage bilateral agreements with the United States is probably the best outcome for us, and then also exploring new markets to ensure that we stay a valuable and a contributor to the export market globally.
A political analyst says that while the government's expectation is to reset strategic relationships, there was strain before Trump's return to the White House. There is caution that expectations should be moderated.
What Mr. Ramaphosa recognizes is that he will not get Mr. Trump to row back on any of the comments that he has already made about South Africa and about what is supposedly happening here. Trying to convince Mr. Trump that he's been the victim of a misinformation campaign will only cause him to dig his heels in and perhaps push back. As we saw with Mr. Zelensky in February, coming armed with the truth is simply not enough.
Wines of South Africa says despite uncertainty, South African producers are resilient, with some of the best wine in the world that will hopefully stand the country in good stead in years to come. Mariska Botha, SABC News, Cape Town.